Hey everybody, it's Zach from Myshire Farm. We are back again with another video to help you on your journey with Coturnix quail and becoming more self-sufficient. In this video, we're going to be talking about winterizing your quail. Yes, winter has came. We had our first frost today. All of the leaves are mad and falling, and I thought that today would be a good day to help you with winterizing your quail. So we have 5 tips and tricks that we use here at Myshire Farm to help you get prepared and success for winter. Before I do, if you will be so kind to hit the like button, support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. This video will be on our YouTube channel, Myshire Farm, under the playlist, which is the 3rd tab over, Frequently Asked Questions. We have a lot of other playlists on there. There are quite a bit of videos in the Frequently Asked Questions playlist, but we've got the hatching process, new to quail and what I need to know, all about the colors, quail for profit, Papa the Builder, this, that, and the other. We are really trying to give you as much information as possible to be successful with your Coturnix quail. So hit the like button, support the channel. But here we go. Here's 5. Number 1. Egg collecting. This is going to be short and sweet, but this might help you more than any other tip or trick that I can give you today. And that is Coturnix quail will lay like clockwork every day. So, for example, our quail lay between 3 and 5 o'clock every day. So during winter, we want to make sure that we start collecting at about 4:30 because it takes a couple of hours for us to collect all the eggs, and be done at around 5:30 or 6. Then they're not freezing, they're not cracking or anything like that. So you'll need to keep an eye on them, find out when they are laying, and then you can kind of adjust your schedule to that. So that's a real easy way to make sure that your eggs don't freeze. Now, you can manipulate your quail to lay at a certain time with extra lighting and things like that. I'm not going to go into that today. If you are interested in a video like that, then you can comment below and we will get that on our list to do a video on. It's not ideal that you do manipulate their timing of when they lay the eggs, but you can if you're interested in that. It's also not ideal that you do it during winter because of the temps and the weather and the less hours and things like that of light, things like that. But you can do it. So if you're interested, comment below and we will get that on the list for you. Number 2, lighting. So production will drop during winter. It's just a given. However, you can make maximum production with your Coturnix quail by adding supplemental light. We recommend 16 to 18 hours of light a day for maximum production. You do not have to do this. If you don't do the supplemental lighting, then they will stop laying or lay very minimum during winter. Then they'll pick back up in spring and they'll actually lay a little bit longer for you as far as their lifespan goes because they took that hiatus, they took that break. But if you do want maximum production or a decent amount of production during winter, then you will need to do supplemental lighting, which is 16 to 18 hours of light a day. Don't overthink it. Now, what we use here is LED full spectrum lighting. That's what we use, but you do not have to. You can use any lighting, daylight lighting, light bulb, anything you want to use. I have a ton of my customers use Christmas lights around their cage, and they say that works wonderful for them. I have not tried that myself, but they swear by it and they're very happy with the production. So you could do something simple as that. If you don't have electric anywhere near you where the cage is or the aviary or wherever you keep your quail, then you could do some solar lighting if that's a possibility. You can check into that. But they do need about 16 to 18 hours of light a day to be fully productive. So keep that in mind as well. And again, if you have any questions, remember every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live right here on our YouTube channel, Myshire Farm, for a live Q&A. It is a great group of people that come and hang out. We've got a lot of good answers for you, and hopefully you'll be able to make that. So if you have any questions, you can comment below or join us on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live question and answer. So that's number 2. Number 3 is hardiness. Yes, you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to worry about it. Coturnix quail are very, very hardy. We have customers that are in Alaska, Missouri, Texas, Maine, Ohio, everywhere in between. We have shipped to all 50 states. A lot of the quail are outside and they do just fine during winter months. It's not a big deal. As long as they are adults, as long as they are fully feathered, they will handle almost any temperature. I've got a couple of customers that I contacted this week before I did this video, and they get around -15 to -20 degrees for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time during the winter. They're outside, they do just fine. So don't stress about the weather itself, the cold. What you do need to worry about is the elements: rain, snow, harsh wind, and it's 2021. So who knows what's gonna fall from the sky this year, right? So you just want to make sure that they get out of the elements. A couple tips and tricks that you can use is, number one, if it's outside in a cage, you can put a tarp over the cage. I would leave the front open, and then at the end of the day, after you feed and water for the last time, you can close that up. They can go into complete darkness and they'll be out of the elements. That's one way. Now, if they're outside, if they're inside in a garage, in a shed, in a basement, in a bedroom, and whatever, if it's insulated or not insulated, it's not a big deal. Weather is not an issue. The coldness is not an issue. You don't have to do anything. You're fine. For those that keep them outside, I'm talking to you. So if you're next to a wall, ideally you put a little lean-to over the cage or wherever they are so that the rain and the snow doesn't fall on them. And that would work perfectly. Again, you can put a tarp over the cage itself. Ideally, the best situation would be to put a little box in the cage or in the aviary where they can decide when they want to come in and out. And as long as they can get out of the elements, they do just fine. So don't stress about the weather. You don't have to worry about it. They do great, okay? That was number 3. Number 4 is waters, the wonderful watering winter. Well, there's a couple different options. This is the biggest obstacle that you will have to overcome with raising almost any animal during the winter, right? So there's a couple different options. Number one, if they are in an aviary or a larger setting, we have used the electric heater base. You can buy those at Tractor Supply, Amazon, eBay, Rural King, anywhere like that. They're about that big, and they just plug in, they heat it up, and the water doesn't freeze. Works great. We've done it in the aviary for years and years and years, never had an issue. It works wonderful. Now, they don't fit into cages. So, if you're in an insulated area or you're outside, those might not work if they're in cages. But that is an option you can check out. If you're using a water bucket system, okay, so the bucket is on top of the cage, it flows through the tube or the PVC pipe to the troughs that we recommend from Wynola Ranch or Red Cups or whatever the case may be, we do have an option for you. It's not for everybody. We have had amazing success with this, so I'll explain it to you. But what we do is we get water de-icers. Again, you can get this at any of the stores, Tractor Supply, Rural King, Amazon, eBay, blah, blah, blah. We put this in the bucket, okay? So that eliminates freezing water in the bucket itself, right? Now, with the tube or the PVC pipe, we actually use the electric heater tape that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. We wrap that around it and then insulate it, and then it doesn't freeze, and it's worked great for years for us. So that is an option if you have cages that are an uninsulated area or outside. That's worked great for us. You can try that out. Wynola Ranch actually contacted me a couple weeks ago and said what they use is actually a bubbler from like a fish tank. They use the bubbler in the bucket itself, and that will move the water around enough where it doesn't freeze. So that is an option as well if the water heater, water de-icer scares you. So that is an option as well. The other tip and trick that I will give you on this point is we've made this mistake, so don't make the same mistake. We use the mason jar waters. We used to, and if it gets cold and it freezes and it busts, you've got glass everywhere. We don't recommend you using those for winter. If you go to, again, any of the stores, Tractor Supply, Rural King, Amazon, eBay, blah, 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 if you go to those, you can get plastic waters, and they are fairly cheap. They're only a couple of bucks, and that will save from when the glass breaks. You won't have that issue. You won't have the cleanup. You won't have, blood all over the place because they're going to step on it and try to eat it and this, that, and the other. We have went through this, so I'm trying to save you from making the same mistake. So plastic waters would be ideal. And the last tip I can give you is when we started out, this is what we did, and it worked great. So you can do this option as well, is we had cages, stackable cages, and obviously the big electric heater would not fit, the electric water heater would not fit into the cage. So we used the plastic bottles, and that is before we tried the de-icer and the tape and all that. But we bought 2 for each cage, and one would stay in the house, one would go out, and we would switch them twice a day. So in the morning, we'd put the water out there, they would drink, and then it would start freezing. And then at the end of the day, we would take that one out, take the other one from inside the house that was warm, put that out there, and then we would just switch every day. Then we're not dealing with opening waters in the cold, getting water all over our cold hands in the weather. You don't have to worry about it. You just fill it up inside in the warm, take it out there, switch it out. Again, the water is only a couple of bucks. That saves a ton of time, a ton of hassle, and a ton of time you going, oh, I hate this, right? It's just real simple swap out. So that is an option as well. Some of these sound like common sense. They were not to us when we started. We figured all of this out along the way, so I'm just trying to save you some time so that you don't have to do the same thing. And the last but not least is trying to insulate your quail a little bit. A good option is to put something flat down in the cage. And again, this is for the cage itself. And put some straw, some pine shavings in there. That will help insulate them. The only thing you need to worry about is it getting damp, because damp plus cold equals very upset quail. Right? So make sure that they're away from the waters and things like that. You will need to switch it out typically once a week, as long as it's away from the elements and the waters and things like that. But they really love that. It'll help insulate them. It'll help keep them warm. You can put that in the little box if you make one or get one to get them out of the elements and things like that. They really enjoy that. And the last tip I can give you on this is we really recommend that you have about 10 to 15 quail per setup, per cage, per whatever, because that really, they'll huddle up together, keep themselves warm. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you get into a brooder and they've been huddling up and you try to pick them up, they are hot. So their body heat really keeps them very, very warm. So you want to make sure that you don't just have a few in each cage. You want to make sure that you have about 10 to 15, and that will really, really help them out during this winter. So I hope this video helps. Again, we talked about the hardiness of quail and getting out of the elements. We talked about the watering system, gave you a couple options. And if you have different options and stuff that you do, I'd love to hear. Comment below and let other people read. My way is not the only way. It's just an option for you. So we'd love to know what you do as well. And then obviously the, putting them together, making sure that they can insulate themselves together, plus the hay or the pine straw, things like that. And then the egg collecting and the lighting. So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, again, I'll be live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on our YouTube channel, Myshire Farm. And if you have any questions, comment below, and I try my very best to get to the comments as soon and as quickly as I can. So have a great day, have a great winter. I cannot wait for spring, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.